everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophie and in today's video I'm going to be continuing some romance series that I'm currently in the middle of. So before I get into the video, please remember to like this video if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. I primarily read fantasy, thriller and romance books and I post videos every Sunday. So as I said in the beginning of this video, I'm going to be continuing some romance series that I'm currently in the middle of. My aim for 2026 is to keep on top of my series and stop starting them and not continuing them. I did a whole series in 2025 where I wrapped up so many series that I had on the go. So in 2026 we're going to be continuing the series that we've started and reading them pretty close to each other. So I have 4 romance series that I'm currently in the middle of that I would like to continue in this vlog. So the first one, we have the Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore. This is the 5th book in the Dream Harbour series. I think there is a 6th and I'm not sure if it's the final book coming out, but there is a 6th book coming out sometime in spring, I believe. I'm not quite sure of the date of this one, but this would get me caught up on what is published so far in the Dream Harbour series. We then have the Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. This is the 2nd book in the Vancouver Storm series. I read the first one in a Reading the Oldest Books on my TBR video and I absolutely loved it, and I'm really annoyed at myself that I took so long of purchasing the book to actually read it, so I want to continue on this series pretty quickly. So this is the 2nd book in that series. This is not fully published. There is currently 4 books out with a 5th book coming out sometime this year. Again, I'm not really 100% sure of the date. We then have Swift and Saddled by Lyla Sage. This is the 2nd book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. This is a sort of short cowboy romance series and I've been wanting to read this one for a very long time. And then we have Unravel Me by Becka Mack. This is the 3rd book in the Playing for Keeps series. This is a ice hockey romance series. The books are quite chunky. I did enjoy the first 2 quite a bit, so interested to carry on with this one. And also this one follows Adam, which is one of my favourite characters and I can't wait to read his story. So those are the 4 romance books we're going to be reading in this vlog. So I have now read the first book for this reading vlog, which is the Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. This is the 2nd book in the Vancouver Storm series. In this one we follow Rory and Hazel. So Hazel is Pippa's sister. Pippa was the love interest in the first book. Hazel is one of the teens' physiotherapists and Rory is one of Jamie's old friends from school, and they had a bit of a fallout and now they've made friends again and they now play for the same team. Essentially Hazel and Rory start fake dating. So Hazel, like I said, she works as the physiotherapist for the team, and her ex, who she also went to school with, Connor, he is also part of this team and he transfers to the team and she feels a bit awkward about it because obviously like they're exes and he wasn't exactly very nice to her at the time, and he arranges a physiotherapy session with her and basically implies that like she's not over him and he wants to win her back and things like that, and she's really not interested. So she blurts out that her and Rory are actually dating and they begin to fake date to make Connor jealous and get him to back off essentially. And also because Rory is actually the captain of the Vancouver Storm team, he wants to kind of make it seem like he's here to stay, he's like respectable, and he thinks having a girlfriend will do that for him because he's got a bit of a reputation as not really being a very good team player. So I gave this one a 4-star rating. I really enjoyed this one. Definitely not as much as the first book, Behind the Net. That was a 5-star read for me, but I really enjoyed this one. I really loved our 2 characters and again like just how supportive of each other they really were. Hazel has some things going on with her family. So Hazel's like a very body positive yoga instructor and she really hates that her mum has nothing nice to say about her own body, and she really wants to get women to love themselves, and she's definitely like a girl's girl, and I think if I knew her in real life I'd really like her. Rory as well, he has a lot of character development in this as well. He goes from being like not self-centered, like he just doesn't realize that he's doing it. His dad is a retired hockey player and he shows his love by pushing Rory to be better, and it comes off quite critical. So Rory almost, he kind of pushes people away in order to be the best. Seeing his character development going from essentially like the star of the show to taking not the sidelines, but like if he has the puck he will pass it to people so they can score, whereas in the past he would score like 9 goals or something and like no one else would get a shot in. Seeing his character development as well and seeing them fall for each other was just really nice to see. I just really loved like the team as well. I love seeing all the side characters. I loved the snippets of Jamie and Pippa that we got in here as well, and I'm really interested to see and read some of the other stories as well from this hockey team. And I really like, I didn't expect to enjoy this series as much as I am. I didn't realise as well these are all on Kindle Unlimited, so if this sounds like a good series to you I definitely recommend it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Loved Pippa, loved Rory, loved all our other characters, and I also just love seeing the hockey games. I think like ice hockey romance is like my niche. I really enjoy it. I can read it over and over again. I just really love it. I just think there's just so much going on and it's just so interesting, and even though I've I've read so much, I'm still finding new stories that I really enjoy. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. A 4-star rating for this one, and I can't wait to carry on with this series as well. Also love, like I said, we cover a lot of deeper topics as well. So like I said, Rory has all this stuff going on with his dad. He also has some stuff going on with his mum. So him and his mum don't really have much of a relationship because she walked out when he was quite young, and it's about him kind of like repairing his relationship with his parents, but also Hazel kind of doing that. Like, not that there's a relationship to repair, but she certainly wants to help her mum and get her mum to love herself. So I really enjoyed like the family aspects of this as well. I just feel like this had everything. Same with Behind the Net, it just had everything. It had a really strong relationship build up, had really strong like family, it had really strong ice hockey elements. It just had a lot going for it, and I really enjoyed it. And all of them were done really well. I don't feel like one overshadowed the other. I think Stephanie Archer's really good at like balancing everything in her books. I find sometimes with authors like one aspect of it will just take over the entire plot, but yeah, she had a really good way of balancing everything out, and a really well-rounded book, and I'm loving this series so far and I can't wait to continue. I have now read the next book of this reading vlog, which is Unravel Me by Becca Mack. This is the third book in the Playing for Keeps series, and in this one we follow Adam and Rosie. So Adam is at the very beginning of the series, he's like in a relationship with a woman called Courtney. They've been together since they were like teenagers, and she essentially doesn't treat him right. Like, they're on and off again, and she, you know, cheats on him and all sorts, and eventually he does end up breaking up with her, and ever since then he's gone on quite a few dates, but they always end really badly. Everyone just wants him for the hockey aspect of his life, for the money and the fame, and he just wants someone to like him for him. So at the very beginning of this book, he is on a date, he decides not to pursue it any further. The woman takes a picture of them kissing and then like rates him on Instagram, does like a 3 out of 5, and people tease him, and he's kind of like given up on dating, finding his person, and he's walking his dog one day in the woods, and he bumps into a woman called Rosie, who is a vet in training who's walking dogs from the local shelter, and they spend some time together. She has absolutely no idea who he is. She's not really up with hockey or into sports, and he can't believe his luck that like she seems to actually like him for him. She actually is a single mother. She has I think he's just under 2 years old, has a son called Connor, and they begin sort of seeing each other. He decides not to tell her about his life as a hockey player. They start dating, and obviously eventually she finds out, and it's essentially their romance blossoming. I did really enjoy this one. I gave this one a 4-star rating. It's definitely my favourite in the series so far, I think, but I do think that these are just so unnecessarily long. So we had like the meeting, we had the relationship forming, we had the conflict where she finds out that he's a hockey player and he's sort of lied to her, and then we had the resolution to that, and then it just like kept going. And then we did get resolution with Courtney, the ex-girlfriend of Adam, but that wasn't even really very necessary in a way. Like, it kind of did add a bit to the story, but I just think this could have been like 300 pages and it would have been really solid. We didn't need the extra 200, and I think this is where, not my problem because I do enjoy these books, but I think that these books could be cut down and still be as good as they are. I just think there's a lot of extra in here that we don't really need. I did like the appearances from all the other characters. Like I said, it's a big found family sort of aspect, and especially for Rosie, like her and Adam were both in care, but they had very different experiences of being in care, and I think for Rosie the found family aspect played such a big part in this book for her, and I just absolutely loved it. I loved how welcoming all the girls are and all the like the men as well, and it was just a really fun read. And I did get a bit emotional near the end with something that happened. I think if you've read this book you'll know probably what that is, but that was really sweet. And yeah, I really love these characters. I really love the relationship. I really love Rosie's character growth as well, seeing her like stand up for herself a bit more. Like, the father of her child is just an absolute waste of space, and seeing her like kind of accept that and kind of not forcing Connor to, or him to see Connor. Like, I just think that's what's best for Connor at this point. He's got so many people around him that love him, and why waste time with someone who's not interested in him? But yeah, I did really enjoy this one. So in this one as well, we had a sex scene where they're in a changing room, and I always find that gives me the like, makes me a bit icky really. I didn't really like that, but I did really enjoy the romance. I did really enjoy their relationship. I loved Adam's relationship with Connor, his like stepson, and how they grew their family. And it just kind of shows like with found family, it's not the family that you're necessarily born to that is your family. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this one. 4 stars, definitely my favorite in the series so far. I'm keen to carry on with this series as well. I've got 2 books left now, but yeah, really enjoyed this one, and glad we finally got Adam's story because I feel like we've been waiting quite a while for this one, and I'm interested to see the next one. I think we're following Jackson. I think there was a little bit of setup at the very end for that one, so I'm interested to read that one as well. So I have some reading updates for you for this reading vlog. I have actually now finished the next 2 books for this reading vlog. So the first one is Swift and Saddled by Lyla Sage. Actually, both of these books, including the Gingerbread Bakery, both of them got a 3.5-star rating from me. So I'll talk to you about Swift and Saddled first. This is the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lyla Sage, and it's like a cowboy romance series. I don't know who we're going to be following in the next book, but so far we followed Emmy and now we followed her brother Weston. So we follow Ada and Weston. Weston works for the family ranch, Rebel Blue Ranch. He is the middle child, I believe. I think Emmy is younger than him, and he won't be inheriting the ranch, but he wants to leave his mark on it anyway, and he's really wanted to build like a guest house on the ranch. He really wants to revive the old house that his parents used to live in and turn it into like an Airbnb kind of place. And this is where Ada comes in. Ada has recently started a interior design business. She essentially gets contacted by Weston and makes these plans for the ranch and comes down and starts the project, and they build this house. We're not together, but she's like designing everything, and they very quickly realise they're attracted to each other, and we kind of go from there. Now Ada has just come out of a marriage. It sounds like an abusive marriage, but it's not really ever like, but it is kind of confirmed. He was very controlling of her, didn't let her see people, so she's very like wary of trusting people. She does eventually open up to Weston about this. Now I gave this one a 3.5-star rating, and it's kind of the same with the Gingerbread Bakery. I just really struggle to like actually connect to these characters. I think what I struggle with in romance series, so for example this one is 285 pages long, and the text in this book is quite big. I read them so quickly because they're not long, the text is super big. I can read these in like, I could read this, I think I read this in like 3 hours. I read this in 2 sittings, it took me 3 hours, and I just didn't really feel all that connected to the characters. And it was the same with Done and Dusted. I think I gave that one a 4-star rating. Really it's more of a 3.5. I did enjoy the characters a little bit more. I just felt a little bit detached from them, and I felt like we moved quite quickly. And I don't know if it's because like maybe the book's set over a longer period of time, I don't know, but because I end up reading them so quickly because they're not long and the text is not massive. Really, I feel like if these were formatted in the same way as like a normal book, this would maybe be like 200, maybe even under 200 pages. So it doesn't really take me that long to read, and I feel like that's why I'm really struggling to connect to these characters. Like, I enjoy the book when I'm in it, and I am going to carry on this series. Like, it's a good, fun, easy, quick read, and like it is a fun time. I enjoy the setting, I enjoy the family dynamics and all that kind of thing, but I just kind of feel really disconnected from the characters. Like, it's very surface level, even though we follow and explore some deeper topics. Like I said, we follow, Ada coming out of an abusive marriage. It still just felt quite surface level, and I don't really know how else to explain it other than that. I think the characters were really interesting, and I'm happy to see like Ada really come into herself and Weston kind of like achieve his dreams and be rewarded for that as well. But I just think like this is a very surface level series for me. I can't really get too invested in the characters, so I will continue on. I do have the next 2 books. It's only a 4-book series, and they won't take me long to read at all. I'm not loving this one like I love like the Chestnut Springs series. That's the only other sort of like cowboy series that I've read, like cowboy romance wise, so that's the only one I can really compare this to. But like, it is fun, it's a quick read, like it wasn't bad. It was just, I can't rate it any higher because I didn't love it. I was just kind of like quite detached from the characters, and like when I finished this, I haven't really thought about it since I finished it, to be honest with you. So I really do like this series though. It's fun, I love the covers of it as well, and yeah, it was just kind of like a 3.5. I liked it, I didn't love it, so I think that's a fair rating for this one, unfortunately. And then it's sort of the same thing for the Gingerbread Bakery as well by Laurie Gilmore. So this one we follow Annie and Mack, and Annie and Mack have been like featured in every single book. Annie owns Gingerbread Bakery and Mack owns the pub in Dream Harbour, and they've been enemies ever since they were teenagers, and it's eventually now it's their story, enemies to lovers. And again, I just feel quite detached from these characters. I think a lot of the love that you're supposed to have from these characters is built up from the previous book. In the past few months I've read the Christmas Tree Farm and the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, which they didn't feature in as much. I think most of their like build up is done in the Pumpkin Spice Cafe Bakery and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, because they are friends with those characters. And I read those like a year and a half ago. So Annie and Mack, I feel just quite detached from, and I think there wasn't enough build up of their relationship in this book. We got flashbacks of when they were teenagers, so you understand why they come to dislike each other. But again, I just feel quite detached, and to be honest with you, when I was reading this, I just didn't, like, I was enjoying it when I was reading it, but I just had no desire to pick this up. And I think I just felt, again, really detached from the characters. And again, this one is over 300 pages, but again, the font is quite big, and also sometimes before the chapters with a lot of these books is like the chapter ends on this page and then you turn the page and then there's like a blank page, so it's super quick to read. And again, I think that's almost the issue, is that you don't really have time to become attached to the characters. Both of these are just very surface level, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think for a romance series, especially when we're like, you know, for Gingerbread Bakery, we're 5 books into this series now, and I just didn't feel attached to characters that had been featured in every single book. And I don't know if that's a me problem, and I'm thinking maybe it is a me problem if it was 2 books in this vlog, but then like I really want to read the next Vancouver Storm book. I don't know, I'm attached to that series, I'm just not particularly attached to these 2. I think especially with Swift and Saddled, I think if I didn't own the next 2, I don't think I'd actually be in any rush to read them. It's not bad, like, I don't know, this isn't a bad series, I'm not like, you know, like giggling, kicking my feet, swooning over these characters. Like, they're fun, I just don't think about them. Same with this one, like I wasn't really thinking about these characters when I wasn't in the book. I didn't really have any desire to pick it up, but I enjoyed it still. I enjoyed the story. It's fun to see the characters from the previous books, and in a way I think that's what holds this book up for me. And again, with like the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, I didn't love that one. I think maybe that's why, I don't know, I'm kind of going on a bit of a ramble here. Like, these aren't bad books. These weren't bad. 3.5 is a good rating. I just didn't love them. I don't know. If you like small town romances, you will like these. I just don't love them, but I did like them, you know. I don't know, 3.5 I think for both of these. I think that's a fair rating. I don't know, maybe I'm not in my small town. I think my favourite romances are like ice hockey romances. I think I need to have something else going on in the romance. Maybe I'm not in my cowboy romance era anymore, or nothing can just live up to Elsie Silver. And then the small town romance, I don't know, maybe it's too small town for me. I don't know, I just didn't really feel connected to these characters. I just didn't really root for them. I didn't really care for them. I feel like it took so long for them to get together. Kind of feel like it was forced. I don't know. I understand why they had a falling out and they became enemies, but like, enemies, like with the whole reason for the fallout, if you've read this you'll know, it just felt a bit silly. I don't know. I understand why like Annie was hurt. I don't know, I think when you live in a small town with these people, I don't know, it's just too much for me. So yeah, I've kind of gone on a bit. 3.5 for these. They weren't amazing. If you like small town romances, if you like cowboy romance specifically for Swift and Saddled, you will like these 2. I just didn't love them compared to like other romance series that I'm really enjoying at the moment, like the Vancouver Storm series. I'm really loving that series. This is just kind of falls a bit flat, and it's a bit surface level. 3.5 for both of these, but at least I'm caught up on this series now. There is a new one coming out in April, I want to say, and again, I don't know if I care enough, but it's one book left, so yeah, I think I will read the next book in this series just to complete it. This one I will carry on. I have the next 2, so we'll carry on, and maybe I'll enjoy them a bit more. I'm interested to read, I'm assuming there's going to be a romance between the older brother, is his name Gus and Teddy. I'm intrigued by that story, and I kind of hope we get one for Gus's baby mama, Camille, is that her name? I hope we get that story. I'm interested in those 2, so this could end up being a series that I do end up really enjoying. Like, I'm not enjoying these. They're 3.5. Why am I going on so much about 3.5 star ratings? 3.5 stars, caught up on Gingerbread Bakery, Dream Harbour, 2 left in this series, so there we go. Rambling over. I will stop rambling on now, and I will wrap this reading vlog up. So that is it for this reading vlog. Comment down below if you've read any of these books and let me know your guys' opinion. Please remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.